You started a medication like Wegovy, Ozempic, Mounjaro, or Zepbound, and the appetite drop felt unreal. For the first time in a long time, the food noise got quieter. The scale moved. Clothes fit differently. Hope finally showed up. But then the next phase begins, the part nobody celebrates on day one. Because once appetite is lower, the goal is not just eat less. The real goal is to stay consistent without stalling, without feeling miserable, and without quitting early. And here's the hard truth. Most people are only told the basics. Eat more protein, drink water, move your body. Yes, those matter. But that's the bare minimum. It doesn't explain why some people thrive on these meds, and others stall, struggle, feel worse, or give up. So in this video, you're getting 6 overlooked factors that quietly determine long-term success, physically, mentally, and metabolically. These are simple, they're practical, and if you apply even 2 of them, everything gets easier. Tip number 1, listen to your body, not social media. Some of the worst advice comes from comparison. You should lose X pounds per week. You should feel hungrier on day 7. You should only eat 1 meal a day. You should snack all day. You should do fasting. You should do tiny meals. No, there is no universal experience on these meds. Some people feel the strongest effect in weeks 5 to 8, not weeks 1 to 4. Some people feel steady and barely notice the medication at all because it's stable. Some people do better with 2 structured meals. Some do better with 3 smaller meals. Some tolerate breakfast, some don't. So the smarter move is simple. Track patterns, not opinions. Use a basic 2-week check-in and track 4 things: appetite level, morning, afternoon, night; protein consistency, side effects, what triggers them; and weight trend, weekly average, not daily panic. Then adjust based on data from your own body. This is your body, your metabolism, your life. The internet can't feel your stomach, your energy, or your stress level. Tip number 2, don't rush your dose. One of the biggest misconceptions online is, I feel hunger again. The medication stopped working. Time to increase. Not necessarily. If you're still losing weight, your appetite is mostly controlled, and side effects are manageable, then the current dose may be doing its job. The goal is not to reach the highest dose. The goal is to find your best dose, the lowest dose that gives reliable benefit with tolerable side effects. Why does rushing dose increases backfire? Because higher doses can raise the risk of nausea, vomiting, diarrhea or constipation, fatigue, dehydration, reflux, slowed digestion that makes meals feel heavy, and, in some people, more muscle loss because eating becomes too difficult. Fast dosing can turn a helpful medication into a daily struggle. So how do you know you're on a good dose? Signs your current dose may be the sweet spot. Appetite is quieter, not completely zero. You can eat enough protein and fluids most days. Weight is trending down over weeks, not necessarily daily. Side effects are mild and predictable. You feel stable, not scared of food. Signs you need doctor's input. Side effects are interfering with daily life. You can't keep fluids down. You're barely eating and feeling weak. Constipation is severe. Reflux is intense. Weight is dropping too fast with clear muscle loss. Remember, sustainable progress beats fast progress that collapses. There is no prize for dosing quickly. The real win is staying consistent long enough to build habits that last. Tip number 3, switch from restriction to abundance. Most people think success on these meds means eating as little as possible, and that mindset leads to stalling. Because if the goal becomes tiny meals, 2 things happen. Protein drops and nutrition quality drops. And when nutrition drops, side effects and fatigue often rise. Constipation, low energy, dizziness, hair shedding, weakness, and muscle loss. So instead, switch the question in your head. Before each meal, don't ask, what can be removed? Ask, what can be added that supports fat loss, muscle, and energy? This is an abundance mindset, and it changes everything. Here are the top ads that make these meds work better. Ad number 1. Protein you can tolerate. Aim to include protein at every meal because it supports fullness and helps preserve muscle while weight drops. With gentle options like eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, fish, tofu, lentils, and protein smoothies. Ad number 2. Fiber that doesn't punish your stomach. Fiber helps with fullness and bowel regularity, but going from low fiber to very high fiber overnight can backfire with bloating and discomfort. So start with easier options like berries, cooked vegetables, chia seeds, oats, lentils, soups, and well-cooked beans. Ad number 3, micronutrients and real food volume. When appetite is lower, it's easy to undereat vitamins and minerals. So add color with leafy greens, tomatoes, peppers, carrots, citrus, and mushrooms, and even a simple side salad matters. Ad number 4, hydration structure. Don't wait for thirst, because many people on these meds forget to drink. Make it automatic with water after waking, water with meals, and water mid-afternoon. Ad number 5, meal stability. Chaotic eating leads to stalling, so favor 2 to 3 structured meals with protein as the anchor and use the simplest plate model: half the plate vegetables, cooked or raw, a solid protein portion you tolerate, and a small add-on carb. Tip number 4, 1 higher calorie day will not ruin your progress. This one rule can save you from the most common trap, the binge restrict cycle. A lot of people start these medications carrying years of diet damage. I messed up, so tomorrow I'll starve. I ate more, so I have to punish myself. I ruined the week, so I'll restart Monday. But your body doesn't reset every 24 hours. Fat loss doesn't happen because every day is perfect. It happens because most days are consistent. 1 higher calorie day doesn't cancel your results. What cancels results is what usually happens after that day: panic, restriction, and then rebound hunger. And on these meds, the more common problem is not overeating, it's undereating, missing protein, missing hydration, and accidentally slowing your progress because your body is running on fumes. So what should happen after a higher calorie day? The 3-step bounce back plan. Return to normal routine at the very next meal with no extreme compensation. Hit protein first because protein stabilizes appetite and protects muscle. Hydrate and move gently with a walk, light activity, and normal life. That's it. No shame, no reset, no starving, just routine. This shift alone lowers stress eating, reduces cravings, protects your metabolism, and keeps your relationship with food stable. Exactly what these meds are supposed to help you rebuild. Tip number 5, protect muscle on purpose. This is the tip many people wish they heard on day 1. Weight can drop fast on these meds, but if protein is low and strength work is missing, some of that weight can be muscle, and losing muscle can make everything harder later. Energy, metabolism, and maintaining the results. So muscle protection is not a fitness goal, it's a long-term success strategy. Here's the simple approach that works without overthinking. 1. Keep protein consistent, not perfect. Protein at each meal is already in the plan, and if appetite is low, use easier forms like eggs, yogurt, cottage cheese, smoothies, and soups with lean protein. 2. Do basic strength training 2 to 3 times per week. It doesn't need to be intense, it needs to be consistent, with examples like squats to a chair, wall push-ups, light dumbbells, resistance bands, step-ups, or simple machines at a gym. 3. Use gentle movement as digestion support. A short walk after meals can reduce that heavy, stuck feeling and supports routine without stress. And here's the mindset that makes it stick. The goal is not to become a gym person overnight. The goal is to send your body a clear message. Keep the muscle while the fat comes off. Tip number 6, you don't owe anyone your medical details. This is a medical treatment, and privacy is a valid choice. Some people share openly because it feels empowering. Others keep it private because it protects their peace. Both are strong choices. Because here's the reality. People will have opinions no matter what. Some will judge the medication, some will ask invasive questions, some will make it awkward, some will reduce your progress to a debate, and you don't need to carry that. And if you do want support, choose the right audience, one trusted person, a supportive doctor, or a community that stays respectful. Mental peace matters because stress can trigger emotional eating, impulsive choices, and burnout. Protecting your privacy can be part of staying consistent. These medications aren't just a shortcut. For many people, they're a reset, physically, mentally, and metabolically. But the best results happen when the medication is used as a platform to rebuild habits. Protect muscle, fuel properly, follow a dose strategy that's sustainable, and tune out comparison noise. If this helped you, tap like and subscribe for more simple, practical guides. And in the comments, share this. Which tip felt most needed right now? Tracking your own patterns, slower dosing, the abundance mindset, the bounce back rule, muscle protection, or privacy and boundaries?